There it is. So howdy and aloha everybody, this is James with Mana Talk. I have a really interesting video of Rand Paul and Fauci going at it, right? They're going at it. But I think I should point something out to you guys as we go through it. And you'll probably catch it, but I'll play it a couple times. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, let me get to it. There we go.
Doctors Barrick and Shi worked together to insert bat virus spike protein into the backbone of the deadly SARS virus, and then use this man-made supervirus to infect human airway cells. Think about that for a moment. The SARS virus had a 15% mortality. We're fighting a pandemic that has about a 1% mortality. Can you imagine if a SARS virus that's been juiced up and had viral proteins added to it, to the spike protein, if that were released accidentally? Dr. Fauci, do you...
I'm going to just stop right there. So he's talking about some SARS virus they were working out with proteins. They're creating these, they're making viruses to combat viruses, right? They're saying, and they're trying to convey that they're making viruses to combat viruses. Now, he's just clearly stated 15% SARS. Wow, if that accidentally got loose, we might be in another freaking pandemic. Right, Rand? Setting up those pins for fear? That's my perception here, Rand. Setting up that perception of fear, releasing viruses from labs, right? Well, let's just hope that won't happen, and let's just hope that you understand what you're doing with your questioning, because we're going to continue. Man, that really sets up some good pins for fear. SARS, 15% more lethal when COVID is 1%. Wow, that's a good one.
You still support funding of the NIH funding of the lab in Wuhan? Fauci, do you still support funding of the NIH funding of at least accidentally? Dr. Fauci, do you still support funding of the NIH funding of the spike protein if that were released accidentally? Dr. Fauci, do you still support funding of the NIH funding of the lab in Wuhan?
The reason why I'm stopping right there is I need you guys to understand something. And understand this. Where's my picture over here? Jesus Christ. Somehow the Zoom disappeared. Did it disappear? No. Anyway. So, let me explain. He is not asking the question correctly. He's not asking the question correctly, because if you've been paying attention, and if you know, there was a ton of money. A ton of money. Wow, this is just showing all my crap. This thing's way out of whack. There's a lot of money that's been sent through the NIH, through all these departments, through our own government, towards Wuhan. In the past, let me correct that and say it's in the past, right? So what I'm trying to say to you is he's not asking this simple question: have you ever, at any time within the past 10, 15, 20 years, given or been a part of any money from the NIH or been a part of going to the Wuhan lab? He hasn't asked that question. It's the framing of the question. So he gives him an out. So he's actually answering the question correctly. Nobody's picking up on this. Rand Paul is giving him an out because all he's asking, do you still support or da-da-da? Well, he's not fucking doing anything now. This happened in the past. So if you would have asked him correctly and said, hey, Dr. Fauci, just let you know, Are you, have you, in the past 20 years, been a part of, connected to, or participated in any money going to the Wuhan lab? That's the question he needed to ask. Have you, in the past 20, or you could have went back, have you ever participated and given any money or funding or any type of funds to the Wuhan lab with your influence, or because of something that you did to help the money? It's giving him an out to say, no, I haven't. The way he answers is, I do not. And that's now. That's in real time. These things happened in the past, Rand. You know this. Rand knows this. Oh, hello, everybody. Welcome to D-Live. Oh, I got D-Live. I think my D-Live is running. Oh, awesome. Anyway. Hey, Brian Aguilar. Good seeing you. Hello, your live. Sound loud and clear. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Shahar. Thank you, Shahar. It's just the way I got to say. Thank you. Thank you, Shahar. But anyway, it's, like a, I don't know, version, maybe, possible. But anyway, thank you very much for being here, everybody. Stevie will be on soon. She's just prepping and doing a few things. But I think you guys understand. And let me go back to that real quick, if I can get it up. Let me try this again. Right, here it is. And let me go over that again. I want you guys to understand. He's giving him an out. Thank you, Shahar. He's giving him an out, a way to get out of the question, right?
Juiced up and had viral proteins added to it, to the spike protein, if that were released accidentally. Dr. Fauci, do you still support funding of the NIH funding of the lab in Wuhan?
Senator Paul, with all due respect, you are entirely and completely incorrect that the NIH has not ever and does not now fund gain-of-function research in the Wuhan Institute.
Do they fund Dr. Barrick?
We do not fund.
You fund Dr. Barrick's gain-of-function research?
So I think right there where he says do not, have not ever, did not ever, I think he stepped on himself, because there's information that's been provided that I've seen, and this is just from my perspective there, bootube, because I know you're paying attention to me. This, by the way, this is I've already got a warning from them, and I've got like 20 people on here, but a lot of people that watch my show will see it on D-Live, which, by the way, D-Live has now like close to 1,500 views of my interview with Dr. Andrew Kaufman. Great information. The guy's been doing tons of study, and he's a very well-respected doctor in his field of what he does. In any case, what is happening is Fauci's kind of stepping on himself, right? So I want to hear his answer one more time.
Research in the Wuhan Institute.
Do they fund?
Has not ever and does not Wuhan. Senator Paul, with all due respect, you are entirely and completely incorrect that the NIH has not ever and does not now fund gain-of-function research in the Wuhan Institute.
Do they fund Dr. Barrick?
See, that's the other out, is he didn't ask him, have you ever? You see what I'm saying? So he's wiggly. It's like I've always said, these hearings are just dog and pony shows. The only thing that I think could happen here is there is a connection with him in the past of some kind of funding coming out of the NIH. But have you personally, or have you in regards, or been connected to? You have to throw the parts of the framing of that question in that way. If you don't, you're going to get a general answer that's going to mean nothing. It's just, it's all a show, right? And then he's also setting up this other freaking virus crap. Please try to understand that. But it's really simple. And then, we got all kinds of stuff happening, all the time that a lot of people really need to start paying attention to. I mean, who's doing what for who and doing what who? I mean, who's doing what for who and for who? Right? So I'm doing this for you. Stevie's doing this for you. You know, we got Convo Couch is doing this for you. Roar Media doing this for you. We've got Steve from Slow News Day and Glory doing this for you. We got a lot of Misty from, where's Misty's channel again? I'm sorry. Facts on the Ground. Right. And we've got a lot of people out there doing a lot of work. I mean, Nico House is sharing, Frank Analysis is doing a lot of stuff. People that are actually, you know, taking the risk of getting pulled, censored, blocked. I mean, the whole 9 yards. And I'm just a little guy. I mean, you know, personally, no, but I mean, compared to all these other people that are out there, what are you laughing for? What are you laughing?
Yeah.
So.
What was it? They called you a linebacker?
Yeah. Yeah, I was a linebacker in college, right? But anyway. So I'm aggressive. That's just, it's natural for me to be aggressive. But the thing is I want to make sure that when you're hearing the information that's coming out of these hearings or coming out of mainstream media or even coming out of independent media is questioned, always questioned. And the source. You know, a lot of us put up documents from the CDC or the NIH, or we get them from World Health Organization or from the FDA and all this other stuff. But even though we're posting stuff that they're posting on their own website, it's the context of the way we bring it forward, which they don't like. So if it shines a negative light on those services and departments that are supposedly there for your benefit and not for big pharma, of course, never for big pharma, never for big hospital, never for those industries, right? Then they're gonna come after you, and they did. They came after me. And while I picked this up, is there anything you wanted to add to that by any chance, or you just wanted to say hi?
I'm just listening.
Okay, she's just saying hi. So I am going to show you another picture, which I think you guys should look at. I'll be right with you. Let me just find it real quick. I'm going to go into here, go to there. Hang on. That thing's running slow. That's this one right here. So what happened here was, on this very channel, I need to fix that. But while I'm talking about it, I can fix it. I had a really great conversation with Dr. Andrew Kaufman, very reputable in his field of study, and he's, you know, I mean, his portfolio is just impressive as all heck. But the guy has brought up some serious. Let's see if I can get that a little wider. There we go. 2200. No, 05, 02. Okay. Oh, that's too much. Whoa. There we go. All right. And then the other side. Give me a second, guys. The other side, we're going to go 5. That's right. All right. So, I think we're good there. I can bring it in, show you a little bit more. And it was a great conversation, but immediately on this very channel, they came after me. Right? They came after me tooth and freaking nail with that interview, like immediately. And I think what it was is, I think his voice, just like a record, or if you hear, you know, Lady Gaga, they're going to hit you for a copyright infringement, hit right immediately. So his voice and others that come on are labeled, they're tagged, and that's, I can guarantee it's part of their algorithm. They're going to go after him, right? They're going to go after him definitely, because he's talking about a lot of information that makes pretty damn good sense. But the problem is what we're seeing is nobody's truly and absolutely questioning authority as much as myself, Slow News Day, Convo Couch, Roar, Nico House, Frank Analysis, Misty Andrew over at what's the name of it? Facts on the Ground. Can you name anybody else off the top of your head that we should kind of give a shout out to that you know? There's a bunch. There's
that's what I hate. I really hate like saying people's names. Not that I don't like giving shout outs, but I know every single time I'm getting like a bunch of people. So it's just like yeah.
Okay, but anyway, there's a lot of people that we listen to on both sides, right? I mean, James Corbett, he had to make a new channel. All his it was 14 years of YouTube channels got completely removed, gone. Good thing he backed them all up and all this other stuff. And then he created his another channel, which is James Corbett Extras, which is good. You guys should check his information out. It's very well done. Dr. Shiva as well. By the way, Andrew Coppett, they have a website, and I'll leave it in the notes and in the comments and all that crap. But me, look, I'm not here for subscribers. I'm not here for super chats. I'm not selling anything. I'm not selling t-shirts or coffee cups, which is fine, and that's okay, because a lot of people put out content every day, and they need your support. And any $2, $3, $5, $10, whatever you can send into them is helpful. Now I am far from rich. But if they're putting out the work and they're out there protesting and showing content and challenging our politicians and our supposed public servants, judiciaries, executives, and legislators, and departmental heads, etc., and service department heads, and they're asking questions that they're spending all their time doing all that information, then that's who they're doing it for, which is part of the show. Those people deserve, support, because they're not getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars by big pharma, by big oil, by big nuclear, by big hospital, by big insurance, etc., right? They're putting out information not just to protect themselves. They care. There are people out there that care. Dr. Kaufman, truly, you can tell by the way when he's talking, he actually cares. I can sense that this person actually cares about people and is very alarmed and is very concerned as of the direction of where our country is going, of where our planet is going, and all the people that influence the decision making that's happening out there. There's great cause for that. There's great cause for that. So I don't know why my Zoom keeps going away. I'm gonna have to fix that. But
that's pretty much all I had.
It's important. It is very important. So when you have somebody that's being paid millions and billions of dollars from industries that are, in many cases, destroying people's lives and putting people in harm's way or death, destruction, the whole 9 yards, who are you going to listen to? I think that's so important. And we do know that a lot of these departments, these giant departments that we have, like the NIH, the CDC, FDA, et cetera, that they are stacked and filled with ex-CEOs from big hospital, ex-CEOs from big pharma, ex-CEOs from from the military-industrial complex, generals and all this other stuff, because they have their connections and they're all intertwined. Speaking of intertwined, and I want to send this out because Derek Bros is somebody I've been paying attention to. By the way, we need to always give a shout out to Whitney Webb. We need to also give a shout out to
Robbie Yeager.
Robbie Yeager. I was just going to say it. Thank you very much. Definitely Robbie Yeager. But Derek Bros has
Franco.
Yeah, I said Franco, but Franco for sure, Franco. He's doing a really great segment. It's a 2 or 3 part series. I'm not sure, but let me just find it here for you guys real quick. That's not it. Okay. That's not it. Okay, it's coming up. There it is. It's called The Pyramid of Power. Now, he's not talking about Egyptians, right? But there is power out there that's happening. I'll go ahead and show you his site. It's this kid, to me, and he's a kid because he's younger, fucking just impresses. The way he lays it out, and it's just very impressive. And just probably showing it, just a little bit of it, is probably not a good idea.
Working as an investigative journalist over the last decade, my work has pushed me to host a radio show, write books, and produce numerous documentaries about the realities of child trafficking, the dangers of technology, and indigenous struggles. Now, I aim to uncover whether there exists a network of individuals and institutions which ties these issues together. Many researchers posit the existence of an international cartel which covertly manipulates world events for their own benefit. Are these claims simply fantasy and paranoid delusion? Or is there truly an agenda to manipulate humanity to the demands of the pyramid of power?
Great. I mean, this is the stuff that should be on mainstream media, but it won't. Me putting that up there, I will probably get my first hit just because his voice, just like Dr. Kaufman, is in the algorithm. It's been tagged. So if they hear his voice, it's like, what is that? Oh God, it's a new movie. God, I hate when I do this because I throw myself in a tangent. And there's the listeners or the walkers, these creatures that if you talk or say something, they come after you. Right? You got to be really quiet.
I didn't watch that one.
I didn't watch it, but you know what movie I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Somebody will probably bring it up. But the girl that was Tomorrow Never Turns with, or something with.
Like 2 words or something.
Yeah, the listeners. But anyway, it's like a science fiction movie with them as far as what we're seeing. We're seeing, and I didn't show it to you guys, but I'm just showing you. I'm just telling you that you have to. You have to know that there are people out there that are, and this is said, I don't know if it was the kamikaze pilots, I don't know if it was the Air Force, but somebody once said, if you're getting too close to the target, you're going to catch flak. You're going to get some surface to air, gunfire, missiles, whatever. But if you're getting too close to the target, you're going to, and the thing about me, and am I hitting it on the head? Am I getting close? I don't know. But they've been after me, and I'm not, I don't have a bazillion subscribers. I'm not Jimmy Dore, who won't touch any of this, right? Which is really sad. I'm not Graham, who won't touch any of this. I'm not Kyle Kalinske, who won't get remotely close. He's actually on the side of COVID and all that crap that happens with it. Mike Figueroa, who's also very, it seems like he's just become, all of them. They're just not understanding how truly and absolutely important it is for us to stand and refuse and defy this nonsense that's happening. Because the problem is they won't come to the table with our professionals. Countless times I've asked somebody and I send out invites at least 2 or 3 times a week to a doctor, to somebody, a hospital. Oh, you were busy? Can you bring some pictures on that the hospital was totally packed with people? You know, can you bring on some information in regards to the mortality rates? Could you bring, you know, show me how the PCR test and all this other? Well, it's right on YouTube. You go, no, bring it on. Let's talk about it, because I have information I'd like to show to you, and then I'd like you to rebut it or try to at least somewhat dismantle it or argue it or anything. But there's so many that won't even come to the table when they know you have, you know, the armor of knowledge, the weapon of knowledge. They know you know. Okay, shit, that fucker knows. Stay away from him. Don't go on a show. Don't try to debate him, because he's going to make you look like an idiot. Because I'm just going to bring up the same stuff that these, you know, supposedly caring giant services and departments that supposedly care about us, I'm going to bring up their own information and say, well, this happened, and this is happening, and they showed this, but now you're saying this. So why is it so contradictory? Why is, you know, how does that really help or work? And you ask the true questions. Like I said with Rand Paul, he didn't ask the right questions. Have you ever, at any point within the past 5, 10, 15 years, or 20 years, have had any involvement of any money being sent to Wuhan, blah, 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 blah? He didn't ask that question, right? If you think look, most of your legislators, judiciaries, and executives right now, especially at the federal level, are bought. Okay? They're gone. If you think they give a fuck about you in any way, right? You're really and truly not paying close attention, because nothing's happened, right? I've shown this cartoon dozens of times of the military-industrial complex over 80 years ago being favored in a restaurant, being showered with money, while in the background, healthcare and other needed programs are just literally in this like restaurant cartoon setting are starving. They're not getting, they haven't gotten attention or anything. It's been this way for a long time. And if you're just getting it now, and if you're not doing something about it, right? Who's doing what for who, and for who, right? You know, who's doing what for who and for who? It's like I know these people that I'm surrounded with in the group that I'm with that are doing a great job in trying to expose this information, right? They're reading off information that they're finding, and they're bringing knowledge to people. They're bringing knowledge to people so they can better make a more calculated decision, an analytical decision, a critical thinking decision for themselves, to better take care of themselves. And sadly, what we're seeing is you don't get that. You're not getting any of that over with mainstream media. You're not getting it. I don't know what else to tell you. They're not going to give it to you. You're not getting it. Their job is their job is to glaze over on the surface of information that's out there, to put you in a place where there's going to be fear, there's going to be anxiety, there's going to be frustration, there's going to be some chaos, and definitely confusion. That's one of their major things, because divide and conquer is the oldest fucking trick in the book. And many people play into it with their labels. And that gets to me, because I hear a lot of people, the libs are doing, the Republicans, the Dems, the Democrats, we're the U.S. voting republic, and we have rights. But those rights are being stripped away very, very fast. One right that I might add, I don't know what she's doing, but because I'm just
sharing the link.
I'm sorry?
I'm sharing the link in different places.
Oh, thank you. She's sharing the link. It just happened. Canada is requiring vaccine passports. They did it, right? And CB made a great comment. She goes, yeah, they do what we tell them to do. Such a fuck, right? And who's next on that list, right? Who's next on that list? Is my chat still working, or no, it's not working? Because I don't see anything happening on the chat.
Should be.
Are you checking the show?
Huh?
Are you checking the show?
Yeah, I was checking in, but Shayar said that there's an echo whenever I'm talking. So
It's not that bad as before. But anyway, because do you have your mic on now or no?
no.
Okay. So there, yeah. When you're talking, if you're talking, I just got to hit my button. That's all. And then we're good. In any case, so check out Derek Brose's stuff. I want you guys to, you put on your critical thinking and analytical critical thinking hats and start diving deep into this information. I think it's vitally important at this time. I think in the movie Day After Tomorrow with that wonderful actor Keanu Reeves, but John Cleese, I think it was his name. He played what was that? Jennifer? What's her name? Anyway.
Lawrence?
No, not Jennifer. Anyway.
Lopez.
No, it's okay. That's okay. He played a scientist, a very well-known scientist, and he goes, "We are at the precipice," and I've been saying this for years. I think we are at the precipice. We're at the pinnacle of that fork in the road. Either we're all going to continue to allow this stuff to happen behind us. Right behind me, there's a fence with barbed wire around a country that's supposed to be free. Around a country that's supposed to be free. And if I can zoom in, I'm going to read it to you because I got this from Jared Beck. See if I can read it for you. Anarcho-tyranny, armed dictatorship without rule of law. The Hegelian synthesis when the state tyrannically or oppressively regulates citizens' lives, yet is unable or unwilling to enforce fundamental protective laws. The authorities ignore criminals and oppress normal citizens. Yeah, you'll be labeled. They've already brought up these words. Anti-vax terrorists. That's already came up. There are people actually saying these things right now. Anti-vax terrorists. I'm like, okay, some people just don't like to take the jab, or they just don't want to put. I'm sorry?
Or they can't.
Or some people, just are unable to do so. Maybe they have health conditions where they can't. Right? So that one, maybe there's 10% of the country that just are no way, or 15% of the country, or excuse me, in the provinces of Canada that can't get a vaccine. Do they get a pass? Are they going to get the pass? Do they have the vaccine pass where, so now those people can't go across the continent and visit people because they can't fly, they can't move around, they can't drive. You're going to have, patrolled stations where you can't get through unless you've gotten the jab, unless you've gotten the boot, which Jason Burmis, by the way, forgot Jason Burmis, another one you guys need to pay attention to. Got some good stuff. Luke Lodowski, he's got some other good stuff. There's a bunch of other people that'll come up in my head as I'm talking. But the thing that I think what people need to understand is who's doing what for who, right? So I'm doing this for you. All those other independent media sources are doing it for you. We're not. Look, and I've heard these people. They're like, man, if you gave me what Rachel Maddow is getting paid, I'd probably flip. They're kidding. I don't believe they would. I hope not. But they've been doing this for a long time, and they've been trying their hardest to make sure that people are getting information so they can make a calculated, decision. Just fucking, but that doesn't happen. Now everything is being censored and guided and controlled and manipulated. There's just, you can't say bad things about something. You can have like terrible, heinous chopping off heads and stabbing and shanking and people getting shot in the head, just all kinds of crap on YouTube, but you can't say something bad about the big industries, right? You can't say something bad about them, especially now. You can't. You can't go after Joe Biden. You can't go after Kamala Harris. You know, you can't say anything negatively, and they're going to come after you. I mean, we are witnessing, right, anarcho-tyranny. An anarcho-tyranny, right?
So what's anarcho-tyranny?
That's, I just read it. Want me to read? Want me to read it again?
Please.
Okay, I'm going to read it again because she didn't hear me first time.
Sorry.
It's okay. Anarcho-tyranny, armed dictatorship without rule of law, a Hegelian.
Oh, it's right behind your head.
Yeah, it's right behind my head.
Okay.
Hegelian synthesis, when the state tyrannically or oppressively regulates citizens' lives, yet is unable or unwilling to enforce fundamental protective law. The authorities ignore criminals and oppress the normal citizens. This is what we're seeing. This is what's happening. They're not stopping. They're just not going to fucking stop. They've got a plan. They have an agenda. Turn off your mic for a second.
Did.
Thank you. I actually, while you were talking just for a little bit, because I don't want to block out your face too much because it's so pretty, I want to make sure I put it up so people can see it, but I'll also leave the link to that document.
I'm still echoing.
I'm sorry?
I was still echoing.
No, I turned it off. There's no way you could have been echoing. I think I fixed everything. I think I fixed everything. It was at the time, but then I finally,
Maybe
fixed
that was
it.
an old message.
That's kind of an old message. It's been there for a while. Could you check on the Monotalk Plus to see if there are chats happening? Because maybe my chat stopped working. And
That's what I'm on, is Monotalk Plus.
you can see it.
Yeah.
All right. So that document, I mean, Agenda 201, CladX, and there's a few others that definitely indicate something's already happening. Sorry, but she's echoing. God damn it. Why is that happening? Is it really bad echoing? Is it really bad echoing? Is it kind of echoing? I mean, I shouldn't have. This isn't plugged in. Make sure that's not plugged in. That's not plugged in.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and check my device manager.
Yeah. No. Okay. So anyway, but everything on my end says that I'm just using this microphone. I mean, I'm going to settings and everything. So, sorry guys, but it's good. She needs to echo. She needs to echo across the world, right? Because she's saying some good stuff and it's important. And hopefully you guys can tolerate that. But I apologize. I don't have a Sleepy J or anything like that here, which would be nice. But like I've always asked, Sleepy J, if you want to stop by sometime, it's help set us up. I'd be more than happy to shed some green towards your way, bro, just for stopping by. But anyway, let me go back to real quick and get back to some of these pics that I wanted to show you guys, which I think are really.
Are you muting on your mic or are you muting on Zoom?
No, I'm not muted at all.
No, I mean when I'm talking, are you muting on Zoom?
Oh, maybe I should mute on Zoom too for you.
Yeah,
just to make sure.
Something's obviously picking
I think
up.
that's what it is. I think I should mute on Zoom, and I mean I shouldn't have to, but in any case, so that's the deal with that. Let me just check something real fast. Oh my God, I think I know what it is. I think I just figured it out. Okay, let me go in the settings. Go here. So there you're there. Make sure properties. Okay, that's good. I think it was speakers. No, it should be that. That's fine.
You go to your device managers and look at your microphones.
I did. Okay. But anyway. let me just show you this. Un momento, por favor. But so what a lot of people are really not getting is, and there's a lot. I mean, I don't know if this is accurate. Maybe it's not accurate, but from what we're seeing is that it's possibly accurate. Is that right? Let me get this behind here. Just oh wait, dude. Let me get this up here where it's supposed to be. Just a second. Just a second. Put this where it's supposed to be. Right here, it's showing that 50% of Americans adults have received at least one dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. But the rates, I was going to say rats, but the rates differ depending on where you look, right? And then I'm just like to me it's like 58% of the meek, the malleable, and the obedient to Big Pharma. That's my perspective. You just got to stop worshiping these people. They just don't give a fuck. And if you keep thinking that they do, then you're just not getting it. You're just not getting it because they never have. I mean, these are the same people that we have an opioid crisis that's still happening to this day, right? The lawsuit's still going on regarding Johnson & Johnson and the baby powder that's caused problems and I think cancer,
the vaccine people,
right?
The people giving out vaccines to let people die from cancer.
Yeah.
Oh.
Cancer, die from cancer, vaccines. Yeah, it's all connected. I like this one. So a voting machine can't be rigged, but the largest oil pipeline can. Fucking I mean, that's such a bunch of bullshit. They easily fooled you all with it's supposed to be they. I gotta fix that. God damn it. So let me fix that. So they. So they easily fooled you with COVID. Now we are out of gas. There's two pipelines. There's the main pipeline they keep talking about, and then there's like the Miller's pipeline or something like that. But there's somebody that I was talking to today at work, and they go, a friend of mine works there, and said there's plenty of gas. It's bullshit. It's just a load of crap. It's a way to feed that monster, right? It's just a way to feed the big oil. It's just all this is just a way to feed big pharma. It's just a way to feed big nuclear. It's a way to feed big hospital. It's a way to feed the military. They find a way to get the predator donor class, the money that they want and need, and they can do it at any point, at any time. Oh, let's see how this is done. Let me real quick. I want to see how this is going. Just real quick.
Death and disease.
Better turn it off. I'll probably get pulled. Yeah, 1,506 views, and I think he's helped me promote this. He's talked to me after our conversation. We've had a few emails back and forth, and we're trying to put together where the money's coming from. That's and in here he clearly puts it down how the see if I can get that in there. Sorry about that. He clearly indicates the motivation for doctors and why they won't break away from the clutches of money that they're embedded in, that they're being controlled by. And it makes great sense when you hear what he talks about. They just getting out of medical school or whatever, doctor school, whatever the fuck it is, and they start to, and we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. And now they got to build a name for themselves. They got to play by the rules. They got to go with what's going on. And it's just, and everything that controls them comes from these giant corporations, from big pharma, from big hospital, from the industries that push their products and everything that they sell. He's totally agreement that a lot of these people that are out there that are supposed doctors are just drug pushers. They're just drug pushers, and they don't care. And the great thing about this particular event that's happening now, especially with these vaccines, is they're not liable. They're not liable, and this is an important point I brought up many, many times. Let's just say you've taken one of the mRNA vaccines, and perhaps you're developing some side effects or some effects physically to yourself that you're just like, I don't feel very good. Where are you going to go? Who do you see when you're not feeling good? Who do you see when your body's not doing well? It's a win-win for them. It's a fucking win-win, right? I haven't had kids. I'm infertile now. I'm sterile. I've got these lesions. I've got these blood clots. I got these problems, these issues. My head hurts all the time. Whatever the case may be. My stomach, my shoulders, it feels like my arm wants to fucking fall. Whatever the case may be. Where do they go? Where do they go? Where does everybody go when they're feeling sick? So this, down the road, could prove to be an amazing benefit financially for these doctors. And they see that. A lot of these guys, I'm telling you, they'll talk to you, look in your eyes, and they'll say, I care about you, Bob, Sue. Your kids and everybody been seeing me for a long time, and I wouldn't give you bad advice. Bullshit. That's bullshit. Well, I've known Dr. Young forever, and Dr. Young says, he doesn't have, a Range Rover and a giant mansion on the hill for nothing. He doesn't go to Bora Bora or the Cayman Islands or Paris or Italy on vacations because he's has ethics or morals or actually gives a fuck about you. This is one thing you guys need to understand. Our medical professionals in many ways have been compromised. Much of them are just following orders. They don't know otherwise. But some of them that know, that are paying attention, they're coming out like Dr. Kaufman, right? And there's others too. But let me go through here. I'm going to show you somebody else. But it's good. So that video is doing good on Odyssey. Awesome. Thank you very much, Dr. Kaufman. I'm glad people can watch that and see that. And I've got some good comments in here. All right. What's going on now is COVID manifesto. Yeah, that's correct. Dr. Kaufman, with all due respect, you're perpetuating a lie. The mark of the beast is the number of man. That stuff that he promised a little overboard. And this is something that really gets me about a lot of people out there. And if you get past the fodder, and this happens, guys, and I think it's important for people to understand this, and this is vital to me. Is you don't need a cult, a religion, a group, a party, to be a dick, to be an asshole, to be a piece of shit, to be horrific, terrible, to be just flat out vile, right? And I've always thought, to many people, good and evil is a matter of perception. On the right, Democrats are evil. On the left, Republicans are evil, right? And that's gone back and forth for too fucking long. But so whatever you want to use or say, okay, it's the beast, it's some religion, it's some cult, good. But that's, to me, it's an excuse. People use those cults, they use those societies, they use those memberships, those groups as an excuse to say, I'm in this group, and your mind thinks and starts to believe that it's all part of it. And I'm talking to people that are in them. And it's the right way. So you start going with the grain. You're going with the flow, and you're with this river of disgustingness and terrible and heinous and vile acts. And the next thing you know, maybe you wake up or something happens where your mind changes. But if you've been in it long enough, you get stuck in it. And it has nothing to do with a label. There are people out there that are just fucking assholes. Right? There are people out there that are just vile. That are people out there that are just terrible, disgusting, monster slimy, I don't even want to give them a label of a living creature because most have a purpose. A mosquito. Everybody hates a fucking mosquito. They're bloodsuckers. Yeah, but there's a reason why they're out there, right? Slugs. Nobody thinks slugs are just slimy. There's not. Well, there's a reason why they're out there. There's a lot of things that are out there in the circle of life, right? Those things are needed and necessary. But there are people out there that are just bad people. And whether they are in a cult or not, they're just fucking assholes. So I'd like to have a discussion with them on that. Just like, it's just not needed. You don't need to they're just not good people. That's it. That's all you have to say. They're just fucking assholes. And there's people out there like that everywhere. Whatever religion, Christians thinks that many Christians think that Muslims are just terrible and awful people and all this other stuff. But the point being is they're just human beings, and they're just trying to exist, most of them, and trying to live and have more joy and less pain. The thing that we need to focus on is what's actually happening now. So who are we doing what for who and for who? What are we doing? I forgot the title of the fucking show. But who are we doing it for, right? So I brought up Jimmy Dore, I brought up Kyle Kalinske, I brought up Figueroa, I brought up Tim Black, I didn't bring up Tim Black, which I shouldn't. He's not really worth watching anymore. And a lot of these guys are just going with the flow. They're talking about the same shit that's been brought up for a long time. It's the same stuff. Nothing's changed. I'm still seeing talking points and information, and we were talking the other night on one of our shows. I think it was last week. I think Gloria was on, and a few other people. We had Ben in there, and Glory, Snork was in there, myself and Stevie. And we were basically talking about there's people out there that aren't talking, that won't dive into it. They won't brush up against it, right? And for them to, at this point, not challenge authority, which they always, Jimmy Dore constantly says he's challenging authority and his clarity and courage and integrity, but he won't touch COVID. He won't get next. He won't even listen to most of it. He's actually had Whitney Webb on the show a while back, but won't bring her back. I don't see Whitney Webb coming back anytime soon, right? So it's ridiculous because I think he's just wasting a lot of people's time. I'm going over the same shit. Bernie's still shit. The Justice Democrats still shit. MPP is, Justice Democrats 2.0. This is a no fucking brainer. The system is totally rigged and set up for the oligarchs. It's totally set up for the rich. It's totally set up for these giant industries that are taking over pretty much everything, that put up the fence behind me. It's the new tyrannical, draconian corporate government. This is what we're seeing. And there's a lot of information to prove that. That Derek Bros, I got to say, that Derek Bros has got some good information. You just got to check that out. Okay, one person that I forgot to mention that I need to mention that you must watch and pay attention to. It's a lot of information, right? But if you can sit there and watch Rachel Maddow for fucking half hour, an hour, or Lawrence O'Donnell or Chris Hayes and all these other fucking assholes, or John Hannity, you name it, just fucking whoever, right? You should definitely stop watching that and watch Ryan Christian, The Last American Vagabond, right? That human being is putting up information that should be all over the country. Every single household should be watching his information. And he doesn't put it out there like, he'll always say this. What's great about him is he'll always say, you know, that's just my perspective, guys. And what I'm saying, what I'm just trying to convey to you is, and I'm bringing it to you, here's their exact document. It's their document. It's on their website. I'm just reconveying it to you. You know, I mean, you perceive it how you want to. Take this how you want to, but it's pretty obvious that maybe there's something else going on here. And he'll say it just like that. And that's kind of what I do too. It's kind of, it's obvious. And Steve does the same thing. And a lot of people will say the same thing. And for us being censored because his YouTube channel got pulled. And then he had to create another. I think another one. Then he had to create another one. And then his Twitter got pulled, right? Yeah, they don't want you to know these things. I mean, and it's not coming at you like, you know, Alex Jones used to come on like such a show, right? And I mean, I'm starting to see Project Veritas, they've got some great information. It's how they present it like it's a show, but it's not a show, guys. We're not at the show point. This isn't a show anywhere. This is something that we definitely need to look at as a vitally important pieces of information that we need to take in, analyze, you know, scrutinize, most assuredly scrutinize, and go over back and forth, and make sure it pans out. You know, like I always say, chickadee check yourself before you wreck yourself. Make sure you do your own due diligence. Check everything that you need to, that you hear and see. Yeah, it's sad that Jimmy won't touch this. It's extremely sad that Kyle won't touch this. It's extremely sad that the same people that you thought would understand and get all this are just they're afraid. I sense fear. I sense true and absolute fear. And I'm telling you, when I was a linebacker, or when I played defensive tackle, I could tell if that quarterback was afraid of me. I could see it in his eyes. God damn, that motherfucker hits hard. You know, and the thing is you can sense it, you can smell it. And I smell it all over Jimmy. I smell it all over Kyle Kalinske. I smell it all over Tim Black. I smell it all over Mike Figueroa. I smell it all over a lot of people out there. And I sadly smell it on what's those guys, the two guys, Daniel and Kit.
Chicago something.
No, Daniel and Kit.
Yeah, Chicago's not Chicago. No, Hardlands.
Hardlands Media.
Hardlands Media.
Right. They don't bring it up. They sad. It's sad. It's sad. God, I mean, it reminds me. I got to tell the story. It reminds me when I used to go to Tijuana with my friends, and I brought some friends, and I used to go in the back alleys. And I'm not even Spanish, right? I'm freaking Polynesian, so I go in the back alleys because I used to go down there with some other buddies, where the real bars are, right? Where the real tequilas, not the, you know, with some good tequila, good fun. It's not expensive. You go in the back alleys of Tijuana, you know, it's kind of slummy, but fuck it, you're having some good fun, you're fucked up. And these guys were just scared shitless. They were just scared to go back there, but you gotta go back there. You gotta go see what's really going on, man. And I understood their fear because they're in a new place, but once they were there and once they started having a good time and the dancing girls and all this other stuff, but they wanted to go back again. This is the best place. Last time I was here, man, I spent like $150. We just spent like $39, and we got this and had this, and this is fucking awesome. You know, I go, dude, I've spent all that money on the wrong place. It took me a while to find this fucking place, right? But anyway, that's my point. I want people to have The real clarity, the real courage to knuckle up. I said that on my show.
Okay.
You should, piece it out, put it up there for you. But I spoke of the audience, and the audience is so well trained. They've been so well trained. They've been guided. They've been manipulated. They've been taught to only use and see and look if there's a big stage behind that person, if there's a big, desk in front of them, and they're more viable.
What letters come after their name? BS, MD, whatever. How much money did you waste going to college?
Right, and of course, billionaires are heroes, right? Because they made their billions heroically. They made their billions by not suppressing or oppressing or subjugating or causing any harm to their workers or the people that they've had business deals with, etc. Of course, they're saints. So we need to listen to them. So the audience has been conditioned, and this is the thing that needs to be said. You're being conditioned. You've been trained. It's time for you to step out of that box, out of that prison. At least crack the door open. At least open a window, for God's sakes. You're in, seriously, you have been for about a year and a half plus now, right? Is that where we're at? About a year, a little over the year and a half mark?
Yeah.
Still in fucking lockdown. How is, what?
That makes sense.
What? You are still being imprisoned. You're imprisoning yourself. The conditioning that you've been given probably your entire life, and Derek Bros in his show kind of goes over how that process works, is that's the truth. But once you start to see who's pulling the strings and their reasoning and the money and following it, then you'll start to understand what their motivation is. And it has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with you. It has a lot to do with their pocketbooks. It has a lot to do with some of their cultist ways, in a sense. I mean, you've got Bill Gates, and a lot of connections with him in eugenics. If you knew what eugenics was about, why they were started, and how they worked, and what their goal was, and why they went into poor black neighborhoods all the time, right? They were trying to oppress and sterilize as many minorities as possible. That was their goal, and it's even been
Still happening today.
It's still happening today. And sometimes they brag about it in a way that seems okay and fine, and they'll tantalize you, and they'll use these marketing tactics. And I've gone over that in many of my shows, but I'll do it again. Is, a circle is a good thing. Got to have a circle around is good. Square is kind of aggressive, not that good. And then they use colors. Like if you go into McDonald's, the reason why they use yellow and red and orange or whatever their colors are, because they're abstract colors. You won't stay in a facility with abstract colors that long. When you go to an Outback Steakhouse, they use contrasting colors. The reason for that is you'll spend more time, order more drinks, get dessert, etc., etc. It's all a psyop. It's all because they understand, these gurus and these marketing firms that are out there putting out this information 24/7, NPR, AP, PBS, CNN, MSNBC, Fox, Al Jazeera, New York Times, LA Times, USA Today, Huffington Post, Politico, all these places. They understand how to write what puts you in that position, certain words, phrases, right? And you could say the same thing, you could have the same sentence. This is true, because I've learned this in marketing in Orange Coast College in Orange County, California, just not too far from Disneyland. You can take the same sentence, right, and you can either curb somebody's thinking with fear, with delight, or with concern. There's many different ways to do that. You were going to say
it's a Pavlovian response.
Yeah.
You ring the bell, the dog starts drooling. That's what it is. It's like, okay, how about this sentence? Communism is on the rise in America. Some people hear that and say, woohoo! And other people are like, holy shit! Buy your guns, get your ammo. Communists are coming over to take over America. Right? It's same sentence. Different effect.
Yeah, it's how it's written. Just a comma or the grammar or the punctuation, and how you italic or there's processes out there that. And the problem that I've always said for a lot of people that are out there right now, and it's very, very apparent, is when it comes to what I guess Mark Twain paraphrased or something of that nature, it is harder to prove to somebody they've been fooled than it is to fool them, is because then ego gets in the way. No way would I be fooled. There's no way I would go, that I planned to go to 5 car dealerships this weekend, but only went to 2 because the second guy at the second dealership sold me. I mean, I bought from them because I knew that was a better deal. But you were supposed to go to 5 this weekend to buy a car. I've worked in these dealerships. There's a process to keep you on that lot, so they wear the fuck out of you and they keep you there to buy the car. You're just at the point, okay, I got it, I'll just fucking take it away. But there's an entire process of this. It's a tactic. And people do not or will not say that, you know what, I'm not buying Gucci because, give me another label. What's another big label for some clothes? I don't know.
Fuck, you're asking the wrong person.
Okay, I have fucking no idea. Some giant name brand, like, I'm buying these $250 shoes because you know why? Because I know they're better shoes. When, in all actuality, you could probably get the same pair of shoes for like $45 at some other store, right? Or and it could be made by the same fucking manufacturer for all you know. Or you can just wait and it'll be on a closing. What do they call the racks or the stores afterwards? Clearance stores like Marshall's, which went out of business, by the way, and a few others out there that you could easily that you'll see that same product because it's not in season or it's just not they're not carrying anymore. That'll be 2/3 off. But how come that same product just 8 months to a year before was 2/3 more? It's because they put a lot of money in advertising. They put a lot of money in marketing. They put a lot of money in the branding, the logos, the impressions. And you got to understand this. The audience out there is what needs to know that the mainstream media, and this is where I think we need to really hit home, is all of us. We can put out whatever we want on COVID and the bullshit and all this fucking COVID circus and all this other shit till the cows come home. But we need to prove to them, this is my thought, that they're being fooled. And we need to get a way to get them to understand how they're being fooled and how to, suck it up, swallow the ego. I'm sorry?
Just fool them into the truth.
Yeah, so we got to fool them into the truth, and it's
I wouldn't do that. But
yeah, but, no. Yeah, but I mean, if we got to fight fire with fire, it seems like these days. But we don't have those kind of resources. We don't have the billions of dollars that these industries have to make to pay these marketing firms the money that they have to put ads here and ads there and this, there, and that, go on social media, the whole 9 yards. We have to find a way to reach out to people to let them know that it's okay to be fooled, but
It's okay to be wrong every once in a while.
and it's okay to be wrong, but it's not being wrong. It's okay to recognize that you're not as strong as you think you are. That I think is the thing that we need to get out, is something of that nature and that caliber. We've got to find a way to say,
like that.
of saying, look, we understand that it's a fucking crazy world right now, but it's a lot simpler, because without the power of the advertising and the marketing, your life would be so much simpler. You wouldn't want that giant couch. You'd just get a couch that works. You know, I mean, all these reasons, but to get them to actually understand not how they've been fooled, that it's possible to be fooled, and how they're being fooled, and why they're being fooled, right? And I think that's important, and I hope Derek Bros is paying attention, because I think it's vitally important for him to understand that as he's showing all of the stuff that he's showing in his great segment, the Pyramid of Power and all that, which I think is a great title, is that he puts forth the effort to show how people are being manipulated, the power of this advertising, and the reasoning why. Where's the money coming from, right? And I think it's important for people to try to understand that when you're talking to those audiences out there, let them know. You know, look, when I'm on Facebook, Twitter, I'm talking to people, I say, look, I was just where you were at 4 years ago. I was right where you're at. I mean, as a matter of fact, we would have been hand in hand, you know, talking about the same thing, doing the same thing, but I got it, and I understood, and I had to swallow my pride. I had to remove my ego, which was tough, and I had to. What are you laughing for? And I had to reevaluate what I was paying attention to. And that's something that we need to focus on. I think us as a group, I know we're putting out a lot of information out there. I know we're sending out this and that, but there's got to be a segment in there that that we need to go after the advertising aspect of it, the marketing aspect of it, the branding aspect of it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not really kind of, you know.
It's like the guy in Star Trek, Kirk. Do it. Yes, do it. Stevie with Red Economics. Yes, that would be a great conversation. And on your show, bring some people on and get them to talk about the conversation of being manipulated, the conversation of being meek, the conversation of being malleable, the conversation of being able to be orchestrated or twisted or turned, and how people need to just, you know, you got to break them. You're not breaking them, you're freeing them.
It's breaking the pattern.
Yeah, it's perfect. Yes, you're breaking the pattern. Perfect. So, because you've been doing it for so long, and by the way, what I'm showing right now, this is really good, is they've got a magnet test, right? I don't know if you can see it on where they're taking magnets where you got your mRNA shot, and you can put it up against where you got shot, and it'll magnetize to your arm.
Lovely.
I'm not saying that's real, because who fucking knows? But that's funny. It's sad and baffling, but it's kind of funny. Oh yeah, I just got a shot, but I got magnets that stick to the same place where I fucking got my shot. Yeah, who fucking knows? But in any case, what I am really trying to convey to all of us is you can throw all this stuff at and here's an important part. It's a level. There are levels of information that you've got to shear. You've got to shear at it. You got to kind of grind at it. You got to sand it off, smooth it out. Because me, I'm pretty blunt. I've just been that way, right? That's why my fucking channel is probably will one day soon disappear, This one's already got its first warning. It's been here for what, 3 weeks, a month and a half, maybe, right? It's like, what the fuck? Because I'm too close to the target, and they're on me, man. They're paying attention. I'm hitting some buttons. They understand that they want you to be meek and malleable and obedient and fucking easily shape shifted and mind controlled and psyopted, right? That's their fucking thing. That's what they do. They don't want you to know you're being played. They don't want you to know how to get out of it. They don't want you to know how to break free. They don't want you to know that, hey, you know what? Maybe we should think out of the box. Maybe I shouldn't just listen to the left. Maybe I should listen to the right. Maybe I should listen to the people underneath me and above me and fucking right in front of me too. And some of the people I disregarded, a few days ago. I'm going to go back and see what that guy's talking about or that girl's talking about. I want to know what was that? I mean, that was pretty crazy what they said, but let me check it out. Let me see what's going on. What's the conversation I could have with that person? So once we start to admit that we're not perfect and we can be shaped, we can be molded in putty, right? Like clay. Then once we admit that we have it, you only learn when you know you, like in MMA, which I've learned a little bit here and there, and I'm not like in a super black belt, but I've been to a lot of classes and all this other shit. But the thing is if you don't get thrown around and beat up every once in a while, if you're not humbled, you're not going to learn. You're not going to learn anything. And this happened in football when I was a kid. This happens in basketball. This happens when I coached basketball for kids or coached Little League. I always told the kids, you're gonna have a bad day. You're gonna lose. But the biggest thing is you learn from your losses. You have to know that you've actually been beaten before you can evolve. You're not going to learn anything unless you know for sure that person beat me, that person won, and I'm going to do whatever I can to get back and beat them, or to be better, or to strive and be better. Or what were my mistakes? Where was I not getting it? What did I do that I could have done then that I should have done? Right?
Self-reflection.
Thank you. Self-reflection. That's awesome. So that's important that we all just kind of, I believe this is the thing about the audience thing I was talking about on Discord the other day, and Ali kind of came in, which was really good. She said some good stuff. But it's the audience we need to focus on, guys. We need to let our audience know what's happening. Not just what's happening like right in their face, but how it's happening. How are they getting? We need to do segments on this more often. I'm talking about Frank. I'm talking about Combo Cat. When I see Fee and Pasta go up and they're talking about all the shit that's really happening, Palestine and Israel, and they're talking about the election fraud and all this other crap, and Stop the Steal just kind of slithered away with Trump, and nobody's fucking talking about it anymore, right? And all this other shit just kind of disappeared, magically fucking disappeared at the same fucking back door that Trump slithered out of. And they're talking about all these things, but why? How is their information getting to them? Right? How is their information getting to them where they're understanding it? It's because they won't allow themselves to be boxed in. They won't allow themselves to be manipulated like clay. They know that they can be. They admit that it's happened, but what they do know is that they have to see every perspective. Like I've always said that. You have people say, "Oh, there's 3 sides to every story." Of course there is, right? Right? There's that person's side and the other person's side, and then there's the truth. Nah, it's that perception that person has after they've gotten that information from that side and the other side. It becomes, because were they there during the whole time? Did they see everything? you need to understand that there are things that are hidden from us for a reason. You need to understand that there are things that are not brought up for a reason. There are things that happen in this time and day that are calculated. Like, what do we call that? I was saying it's like these marketing advertising firms they play chess like at a amazing level, like Bobby Fischer, right? They are so good at what they do.
Well, yes.
It's about going from defense to offense.
I think I got that right. Right?
Right now we're playing defense and we need to be on the offense.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're on the offense, which is good.
Well, we are. But a lot of people are just reacting to what's happening, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's like a shift from like instead of just reacting to the things that they throw at you every single day to actually planning on, because that's how they plan. They plan on how to get us reacting to what they're doing, and we're so busy reacting to them that we don't plan on actually defeating them, but just plan on the things on how to survive what they're doing today. So it's a shift of mentality and strategy, I think.
Yeah, I think that needs to be brought up, and the reasons why this happens. So when Pasta or B or Nico House and everybody's starting to say what they're saying, there's got to be some way is to say, well, the money went here, and this is why this happened. The marketing campaign puts this information out for a reason, because, and I show this in a lot of my pictures. I'll show where this money is coming from. For example, like right here, I put in a couple of my shows in the past, a few of my shows, where money has been going since 2019. A plethora, giant amounts of money in 2019, from pharmaceutical health products, from medical supplies, hospitals, nursing homes, pharmaceuticals and health products, big hospital. We're throwing so much money at these politicians on both sides. On both sides. I'm sorry?
They're hedging their bets.
Oh yeah, they're hedging their bets for sure. That's exactly what they're doing. The donor class is a reason. The reason why there's a donor class is because they throw god-awful amounts of money into these people's campaigns. And these supposed public servants, legislatively, judiciaries, executives, etc., bend to the will of the people that have the most money to keep them in office. Let's get that out of the way for sure. That's a fucking no-brainer. That's been happening too long. Thank you, Citizens United. Thank you, McCutcheon versus the FEC, et cetera, right? Money in politics. But the amount of money that went to more so from these industries, these pieces of these parts of this giant industry, went more so to the Democrats. The Republicans still get theirs. They still get a little piece. It's just keep them in the conference. Make sure, hey, we didn't forget about you guys. We didn't forget about you. This happens with the military-industrial complex. Lockheed Martin, Aeron. What's his name? Aeron. What am I talking about?
Well, it's just like professional wrestling. I mean, both sides get winners and losers. They get paid either way.
It's not Axion. What am I talking about? Aeron? Enron. God, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I actually have a friend that works for Enron.
Are they still a thing?
I hope not, because the guy was just a total.
It doesn't really matter either way.
Yeah, he's just a not too cool dude. But it doesn't matter. But anyway, and so I show this kind of information. I let people know what's going on, but this is something that needs to be said. And what's great about Bobby Yeager is he's actually showing some information, and he brought some information up the other day, which I thought was very, very telling. In related news, Pfizer has spent over $3 million lobbying the federal government so far this year, in addition to donating $1 million to Joe Biden's inauguration. This is a fact. This doesn't just happen. This money they also give a good portion of this money to the other side. Okay, there's tons of money, and what's interesting is people do not realize that fact, and I think you brought this up the other day with that.
Can we share that with others?
It's years. Okay, this I'm sure a lot of people can understand is the subjugation, the oppression, the tyranny, the not being the, just not, and I'm not talking about the success of my life, because I've lots of great successes in my life, but just watching others and paying attention to people living under bridges, the death, just paying. I think it's being able to say, you know what, I'm going to look at that. I can handle that. I mean, you can open it. I've seen a dead body. I've seen a few of them. I've been around some crazy shit, but I'm okay, because I'm okay with knowing. I want to know how it all works. I think it's important. I think it's. Oh, I got to turn up anything. Is yours?
I'm muted.
You muted? Mine is fine. Her audio is echoing like last time stream. Something is get it muted. Okay, I think I had my thing on. Anyway, thank you, Kat Terrell. Thank you. Good to see you, by the way. Thank you. Sorry about that. I don't know. I need to fix my electrical. But let me just say the reason why I have a different perspective on so many things that are happening around us, and all of us have that ability. I'm not, Superman or anything like that. And sorry, honey. Yeah, you are Wonder Woman. Okay, you're Wonder Woman. That's just the way it is. But the thing is I'll put down my guard. I'll actually listen. I'll actually pay attention. I'm not going to just say my way is the right way and that's the way, right? Well, maybe when it comes to like my house, sometimes she's probably laughing right now. That's just I was in the military, for God's sakes. There's what I'm saying is I will open up to information if it starts to make sense. And if you and you don't have to be a genius to talk to me. You could be just any fucking person on the street, and I'm going to listen to you. I want to hear what you have to say, because I give a fuck. I care. I don't hate people at all. I need people in my life. If you can't know that, you need to be around people. They're part of your life. This is our village. This is our society. Our villages have gotten bigger, but we need to listen to each other. We need to pay attention to each other, whether it's wild or crazy, but their words are important. Your words are important to me, and I hope mine are to you. I just know that from what we've been going through, absolutely within the past decade or two at the least, it's just been out of control, and it is completely and totally out of control. We're at that point and we are at the absolute precipice. People are talking about social credit. People are, they're, the Great Reset and all this such stuff, and it's all panning out in that direction. Behind me there's a fence with barbed wire surrounding a place that's supposed to represent freedom, justice, peace. And it's not up there because, there was a guided tour on, what was it, January 6th? Yeah, of these people that came in and were walking within the ropes, and they got a guided tour. There's plenty of video to prove that was all fucking staged. Thinking otherwise ridiculous. because there's too much information to indicate that. There's security guards letting people into the chambers and all these other places. It was just
Is that what a democratically elected president looks like?
right.
Because the masses are coming to take over,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
That because the masses
What?
don't want any office. That's that why the fences are up.
Yeah. Yeah, those fences are up there for a reason, guys. And it has nothing to do with the Republican Party. And it has nothing to do with Trump supporters.
They're still up too, aren't they?
And they're still up. And there's armed, what do they call when they vetted guards in there
Guards, yeah.
that are absolutely with and for their process, right? They're absolutely with them for their process. So, and their agenda. And as long as they've got those kind of watchdogs in that area, they're fine, right? But here's, back to your question. Everybody has this ability. Nobody's special. Wait, everybody's special, not like special bus special. I'm talking about like, okay, sorry, like special. Oh God, kid, fucking that up. But what I'm saying is, everybody has the ability to listen, to pay attention, right? What do they call it? You can see this, and this all around you. It's the stuff behind you can't never see. You know, you got to turn around every once in a while, and you got to look. You know, put your hand out, make sure you know where you're going, and look and see what's behind you, because you got to find out what's good, what's happening, what's going around you. You have to pay attention and use your senses. You know, that's why, you know, the gods gave it to us. They said, here's your senses, use them the best way possible, and if you use them correctly, you're going to have a pretty decent life. I mean, I sleep well at night. I'm not hurting anybody. I'm not killing anybody. I'm not causing anybody. I truly believe that I'm actually helping by bringing more knowledge to people, instead of what these doctors are doing, taking money, which I got a picture of, by the way. I don't know if you see it on the YouTube. But let me get on that. Everybody can do this. Everybody can find a way to understand what's going on out there. Everybody has that ability. I don't have any special abilities. I just chose at one point to just really pay attention to everything and take it all in and let me dissect it. Let me listen to Alex Jones and see what the fuck he's talking about. So I did. Some of it made sense, some of it was crazy. Let me listen to Jimmy Dore and see what's just, it makes sense, some of it's crazy. Let me listen to Rachel Maddow and see what's going on. A lot of that's just fucking nuts, right? And then I find out that she's a total whack job and a fake and a piece of shit, right? But I, believe it or not, I'll still watch her every once in a while. Believe it or not, I'll watch Sean Hannity every once in a while. Believe it or not, because I want to see where the pulse of things are moving. And I think that's important for everybody. But if you stay in that little place, that little line, that little road, little safe road you're on, you're not only hurting yourself, but you're hurting others. I think you're not only hurting yourself, but you're hurting others.